Simple Plan and Sum 41 with them. So if you're going to that, that's Blossom on August 22. But Sum 41 have announced that they are calling it quits after 27 years. And there's been a lot of lineup changes in that band. I think Derek Whibley might be the only one who has been through the whole time. People have come and gone. I know Dave Bach left a while back, and then he's back with the band now. But for whatever reason, they if you follow them on Instagram, they posted a big long thing saying, "Hey, we're going to wrap up this tour. Thank you guys so much, but we're done." And so I did a live thing with Sum 41 20 years ago when they used to put live in the studio shows on the radio. Once in a while, they'll still do them, but I did a handful of them, and I did one in Salt Lake City with Sum 41. They were recording an album called Chuck, which was had to have been early. It was their third or fourth album. And I hosted a live in the studio thing that ran on radio stations around the country. And so I got to have conversations with those guys. And I don't know why I was already a Sum 41 fan. Like, there's 100 bands that kind of had that vibe. Maybe it was because they paid a little bit more homage to their hair metal roots. You know, they had no... it's kind of verboten for a lot of punk bands to even acknowledge that they like big chunky riffs and hair metal stuff. And the Sum 41 guys were very into that. I think they did an album where they had like a hair band parody band that they would go out and do anyway, whatever. But I always dug Sum 41. There were a lot of bands that kind of had that similar sound, but for whatever reason, they just kind of scratched me the right way. But they had Derek Whibley almost died because he drank so much, and he was in the hospital for a while. And they started out as a NoFX cover band in the mid-'90s outside Toronto, and but anyway, they've announced. So this is a long way of me saying when you see them at Blossom, that will be the last time you see them here, unless you travel to see them. They said that they're going to finish all of their upcoming tour dates. They're dropping a final album called Heaven and Hell, which my understanding is half of that album is going to be punk stuff and half of it is going to be like that hair band metal stuff. And then they said that they'll do a tour after that. So maybe they'll come back through again. I don't know. But I guess they're getting people ready. This is their way of saying we're going on a farewell tour. But they're this summer opening that Offspring tour, which will be the next time they come here to play Blossom, which is August 22nd. So if you're a Sum 41 fan, keep that in the back of your mind. I'm sure if you are, you probably already follow them and have seen this. Conversely, you might be somebody who A, has never heard of them before, or B, don't care. In which case, just take everything I just said and just strike that from the record. Just disregard. But they're going away. People thought that it was an April Fool's prank, that for some reason they pulled on May the 8th, which to me implies a fundamental misunderstanding of the concept of April Fools. The name is in the prank. Those people were probably kidding, but nevertheless, what are you going to do? But I dig Sum 41. Now, I probably won't see them when they come through to open for The Offspring, because that seems like a lot of work.
What's the date on that show?
August the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Let the Bad Times Roll tour. Offspring headlining and Simple Plan and Sum 41 opening that up. Those last two bands, of course, are Canadian. They did their own thing called They did a Blame Canada tour, I think late last year. Simple Plan and Sum 41 went out. But, over the years, 27 years is a long time. Over those years, there's been some acrimony in the band. There's been stops and starts. Because when they first...
not substance abuse problems.
Substance abuse. Yep. Things thrown at each other. Angry things said in the press that I'm sure one or more people might have possibly regretted. I don't know. But it's all coming to its logical conclusion. If you want to leave us messages, you can certainly do it. Voicemail-wise, you can drop them quick ones to us on the iHeartRadio app. if you listen there, with a little talkback button. But I always come in on Monday, and I know that there'll be a lot of voicemails from the weekend. Most of them are Jenna screaming and growling, but, sometimes we'll get some other good ones. 216-986-8903 is our after-hours line.
Hey, guys. This is Mike in Akron, currently driving around Columbus for work. I'm listening to Thursday's show. Does Poundcake just think in porn all the time? Like, I swear to God, he brought up, like, delivery people, please come to the door, and primarily women, like, half throwing themselves at the delivery person. It's like, no one does, like, it happens. I know art imitates life in a way, but Jesus Christ, it doesn't happen anywhere near as much as Poundcake imagines it does. It's like, you're lucky if you get a good tip. You're even luckier if you just get out of there without having some kind of dumb trauma. That's it. I'm annoyed at Poundcake, but it's all good. Love the show. Hate you guys. Bye.
This is the Alan Cox Show.
Didn't want that. I think that we're going about that all wrong. I think he's unnecessarily criticizing Poundcake for something that I think can be easily explained. Would you care to take a crack at that, Poundcake? What's your rebuttal to his criticism of you?
Well, I do enjoy porn, and I've said that many times. If I don't really have a vice, but I guess if I did have a vice, it would be porn. And two, it was a question. He said it does happen, not nearly as much as people think it does, but it happens. That was my whole question. That's what I was asking.
Right. He said it doesn't happen nearly as much as people imagine. Nothing happens as much as we imagine, whether it's sexual or financial, right?
But he says art imitates life. So I was like, I figured it had to come from somewhere. I asked people who are Amazon drivers and delivery drivers, mail delivery.
He's done
people,
the research.
Like they say no, it hasn't really happened. But I've had people who have other professions, which I'm not at liberty to say.
You better say.
No, I'm not going to say.
Why? Why wouldn't you say?
No, because I don't want to say. I don't want to blow up any spice.
It's not a spot. It's a job.
And first of all, nobody's going to know who you're talking
I don't
about.
care.
The audience is not going to know who you're talking about.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I've had other jobs where they had to make house calls, and they say it has happened. So
probably
Tell us all about it.
So I'm
a
like,
house call.
So I'm like, oh, well, I think it's probably just like the fancy, like, oh, no one wants to hook up with like an Amazon delivery driver. But if you have a top tier profession, that's kind of hot. That builds into the fantasy. So I think it's a matter of if I'm going to get caught, if I'm going to risk my neighbor seeing me, I at least want it to be with someone I can feel good about getting caught with. So that's all.
I didn't even go that deeply into it. I went with some a lower bar there, which is very simply that Poundcake is a gay man. And so he's looking at the world through flesh-colored glasses, if you will, because he lives in a world where a guy can text you a picture of his balls and say, where do you want to meet? And so for a guy to go, it doesn't happen like that. In Poundcake's world, things like that, forget the Amazon driver and I'm delivering a pizza and then the weird music starts. Somebody ordered double pepperoni. In Poundcake's world, that can very much be the case. Us straight guys doing work, putting in the time, making sure we don't say the wrong thing, right? That's where that guy who called, that's where his perspective is. He's a straight, it doesn't happen like that. It's never happened to me. Poundcake lives in a world where that can happen with stunning frequency.
But I don't think that's a gay thing. I think that's a good-looking thing.
It's not a straight white thing.
But it could be, though.
Straight white hetero thing. We got to do work. We're putting time in. If I send a picture, now again, my dating.
I'm not even talking about pictures. I'm saying
no, but you know what? That's what I'm saying. You live in a world where you can text someone a picture of your garbage, and they'll go, "Yup, meet me at the McDonald's." Yes. Around the corner, and it can happen that as you've described it.
Yes,
and as gay friends of mine have described it, that's very much the world that you're living in. That is not the world that straight hetero dudes are living in.
I have hooked up at an airport in an airport bathroom. I was on one side of the airport, another guy was on the other side, and we met at a mutual bathroom.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. So it's just a difference in perspectives. For him, he goes, it doesn't happen. Well, he's imagining a world in which it can happen,
But okay, but that's hot, and it was a fantasy.
No one's saying it's not.
And I didn't think that was like out of the realm of possibility.
I'm saying gay dudes have got it figured out. There isn't an ounce of criticism in my voice right now. You guys are living the dream.
I'm just saying,
living the dream.
If you invite a dog walker, or not a dog walker, but like a dog, a vet to come check out your dog.
A veterinarian.
And he's like, he looks good. He's in his outfit.
Was that a hint at what this person's profession was? You idiot.
Damn it.
Ah, boy.
But yeah, if you're making a house call and the person's there, her husband's not home, and she's just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for healing Felix. We were so worried about him. There's no problem. And she's just like
healing.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. Yeah, obviously it's a fantasy.
Poundcake's contacts the
Healing Felix.
Veterinarian.
There's a veterinarian named Felix in there somewhere. Better find him.
No, the Felix is the name of the dog, the hypothetical dog.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, you already threw veterinarian out of the hypothetical. I thought maybe you were throwing Felix out of the hypothetical, too.
No, that one I just
You had him top of mind.
But yeah.
No, that's beautiful. Again, my dating career preceded any apps whatsoever. When I was a single dude, obviously, there were no apps at all. I have no idea if I were to be thrown back into that world, how I would even operate in an era of dating apps. I'm sure I'd figure it out, but it's like, it's a whole other thing. And you guys have it figured out. That's a beautiful thing.
What I found really odd was, like, with the guy I'm with now, we had no mutual friends, which that is...
Well, you don't want that.
But that is different than everything else I've ever known. Like, I usually, when I do my little background check, in opposition research, just in case. I'm looking up. I'm
doing oppo on the.
I do a quick search on Facebook. I'm not diving deep into. I'm not doing a verification check. I'm just going on Facebook, the stuff that's easily accessible. And I'm like, okay, 5 mutual friends. I'm like, okay, that's not a crazy amount. But some of these people are 50 to 70 mutual friends. I'm like, oh no, he's in the scene. This dude had 0.
Well, that's why
I'm like, that's a red flag too. So I asked him, like,
well, God, you can't win under those circumstances. Then
I'm like, did you delete everything so there's no history? I don't like a man that's super over prepared. You act like you was prepared for me to look at you.
Right, but also I would think you would, as much as you complain about having blown your way through the local community. Okay. I mean that. I don't mean that literally. No, I didn't. That was a poor choice of words. I would think you'd want somebody that maybe didn't have any mutual. He don't know you. You don't know him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit more anonymity.
Yes. Because then we don't find out things from other people about the other person, which is what I want. I want to get a chance. I want to give him a chance. I want him to give me a chance.
Yeah.
From no outside influence.
Even from what I've heard, I was gonna say my single friends are divorced friends, right? Even younger than me. They're on the other side of being married or whatever. So friends of mine who are on the apps are like, even the hetero apps that are like, they say just for hooking up, they're not. You still got to do work.
Okay.
It's not like Grindr.
What about police officers or like paramedics? Can they text in anonymously and say if they've had anything happen like that?
Well, I know they have.
Because I was going to say, because I feel like, a hot cop coming to your house, like, listen, I'm not going to be...
But it's not for a call. It's more that they're just banging on duty.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's something I would do. I'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad you're not a cop.
No. I'm not saying I
like
would.
that girl.
You bang a cop?
I would bang a cop and not say anything. I don't want to be the cop. That's too risky. But if they want to risk, they already putting their life at risk. Let them blow off some steam.
Just do it on my dime.
Yeah.
Well, get another district. I live in Cleveland. Let me get a Brecksville cop. Let me get a Broadview Heights cop.
But it's like wherever it was months ago, where that girl cop ended up like banging every dude in her precinct, and she was married. But that was Tennessee. But they were like, when they would start to depose these officers, they were like, we were just banging on duty. Like, we'd park around a building in the middle of the day. I'm like, you guys have too much free time. And it's not like something like that would be confined to small town Tennessee. It probably happens all over the place. You guys have too much free time.
Do officers still get flashed? Is that a thing?
I feel like flashing has really fallen out of favor.
I think the advent of the cameras,
yeah.
Because, I mean, when you used to go to a festival or thing like that. It was boobs the whole show. Like when you went to early days of the Warped Tour or anything like that,
All boobs.
so much boobs.
Because
And now
you, they were,
nobody does.
because
No
you
boobs
literally
anymore.
got a flash of them. They were not committed to photos
Yeah.
that again
The rest
could
of their
be
life.
used
Right.
against you by an angry boyfriend. Whatever putz you met at the Warped Tour. I mean, now when you see there's a video going or making the rounds today about some old woman who flashes she's got a bra on, but I mean, they're like, ooh, granny flashing the crowd. She's like at a football game or something. I don't know. That's what you get now.
70 years later, like,
Yeah, because
that was me.
well, no, like last week, it's an old lady flipping the thing up. So,
Nah, I think that's how, like, your job is so stressful all the time. And I'm not saying while you're on duty, but maybe when you're off, you live nearby and they see you drive by. And do they still allow you to take your patrol car home now? Are you allowed to park it in your driveway?
I don't know anything about that.
I'm just saying, you drive
Do
past
not
every
know.
day and you're like, you know what? I'm going to give him some. He looks like he be stressed every day. I'm going to just water my lawn at the same time as he drives by. One of these days, he's going to
Water
stop.
my lawn. You're out there in Daisy Dukes and no shirt.
Yeah.
Water my
I'm just
lawn.
going, one of these days, he's going to stop he's going to need air in his tire. I'm like, oh, trouble, officer? Ma'am, are you drunk? No, but I might need help opening my front door. Can you assist me, sir?
Yeah. Hey, Healing Felix is at Brothers Lounge this weekend. Don't sleep on that show. That's good. I think they're a Rat Dog tribute band.
That's a pretty good name.
Get up there and noodle. Yeah, no, I mean, you'll still get girls flashing their boobs, but those are girls who don't. They're never like
Talking
amazing
specifically at cops, though, or the
at
paramedics.
cops.
First responders. Like, I want you to first respond these boobs. I want you to be the first person
We
to see
haven't even
them.
got girls to smash their boobs on this window
Yeah,
yet.
we had one girl, and it wasn't the one we were looking for.
No.
We are not frontline workers.
We need you.
This is the front line right here.
We're
the front line
front
of
window
radio.
workers. We're the front of the window. Only studio here with an outside window. What else is it for? I was sold a bill of goods when I came down here.
Hey, lady
Alan,
that just walked by. Get over here.
come on. Alan, when we move downtown, we want the Alan Cox Show in the Street Side Showcase Studio. I said, beautiful. On the rare occasion we've had to do this show from one of the other studios, though, where there's no window, it's 100 times better. Aesthetically. I love it. But the window here, if we're going to be in the window, give me something to look at.
When I lived in Oberlin, I lived on one of the houses I lived in while in Oberlin was East College Street, and it was right down the road from the college. Like, it was the line where they would run for like the college lacrosse team. So it was just like in that realm. So I would just be by my window and they would run at the same time every day. And it was like a sexual awakening. You get
An awakening.
You get like 30 ripped men, sweaty men running across your window every day. And I would wait for it.
Passing their balls in those little nets.
Oh,
Bill played lacrosse. What's that called? The stick with a net on it.
stick with it. Yeah, that is lacrosse.
I know.
Yeah.
Bill played. What is that called? Is that called that?
The lacrosse stick.
It's called a lacrosse stick.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys tossing their balls or their lacrosse sticks
No,
in front of your window.
They were literally just the tiniest little shorts and tennis shoes, and that's all they would have on, and they would just be sweaty, just an army of just shirtless men in the smallest little short shorts. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to go to college.